Down, down, down. What's up, everybody? You're tuned into the Elks Call, your home for Edmonton Elks fan talk. I'm your host, Scout, aka the rep from Section X,
And I'm Catherine, aka Divan Elks.
coming to you live on Shotgun Sports Network with the replay airing exclusively on Edmonton Sports Talk. Um, we're back.
Yeah.
It's season 3. Very, very exciting. It's been a little bit of a journey to get here with the new studio and everything, and all of these changes.
I know, still working on it. It's been a little crazy of a time. Well, it'll just get better. But yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah, just a little bit wild, but we're back. Stampeders Roundup, we see you in the herd chat. Hey, guys, nice new digs. Thanks, man. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, I mean, very exciting times. So very, very thrilled. We can't thank you enough for riding with us, and thanks a lot for dealing with our delay here. So really appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe buttons to show some love. Your support means everything to us here at Shotgun Sports Network. All right, show schedule for today is as follows. We are going to open up with The More You Didn't Know, where we talk to our guest about a variety of topics. Big guest today, by the way. Next up, we're going to give you some Shotgun Sports updates and acknowledgments, followed by Kathy's Herd Report, where we bring you the latest Edmonton Elks news and transactions. After that, we're going to give you an Edmonton Sports update, and then we're going to bring out a new segment. New segment alert. Very, very thrilled. So that's going to be a good one. Green or gold, hot or not, basically. And then we're going to open up the fan forum, a fan favorite, where we talk about hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks CFL world as a whole. A little bit of extra sports in there, but maybe not today.
Right.
We're interactive, which means our viewers can comment and ask questions in the herd chat if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. And you might want to get them in for this one. Maybe a couple questions. We're going to get the show rolling with The More You Didn't Know, where we talk with our guest about a variety of topics. This segment is brought to you by Royal Retros. Save 10% off your order by using code Shotgun Sports, all caps, no spaces. If you like throwbacks, you're going to love a Royal Retros. They are the throwback kings. They also have CFLPA merchandise, which is clutch. Support the players. I know our next guest here was in with the CFLPA there, I believe, as a representative for a bit. So without further ado, or at least big proponent, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show the mayor of Commonwealth Stadium, now the mayor of Athletes Compound, formerly number 41 of your Edmonton Elks, well, Edmonton Eskimos at the time, 2015 Grey Cup champion, Odell Willis. Odell, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
We need the there you go.
Let's go. That was that May 10th?
That was May 10th.
Man, you're making waves in the Canadian football prospect game with Athletes Compound, and you've had some double E coaching appearances over the last year. So we got to ask, how busy is this time of year for you?
Oh man, I'm always busy. And this time of the year, it's kind of bittersweet because I get that urge. You get after 13 years, you get used to people calling your phone saying, "Hey, you want to play for us?" and things like that. So around this time, you get that itch. You want to go back out there, and like I say, it just what I'm saying. You get busy because, like I said, you got kids getting out of school now. They ready to turn ready to take their training to the next level, and you got the CFL starting, so it's just a lot of football going on that, you just got to manage your time wisely.
Yeah.
Time management, especially having kids, being a managing father, being a mentor, being a coach, being a business owner. You got a lot on your hands right now.
Yeah, I do. I love it though. It's what I asked for, so I'm not complaining no bits. I ain't doing nothing but licking all the blessings that's falling off the plate. And I'm not complaining about none of the blessings that's on my plate. I'm not complaining about it being too full because, like I said, I asked for it. So all I'm doing is trying to share it a little bit, and whatever I can't share, I'm gonna make sure I catch the drippings off the side of the plate and keep it moving.
I love it. And you know what? Way better than having nothing to do. It's better to be busy and have a purpose than just nothing to do.
Yeah,
Exactly.
some athletes come out of the game, and there's now services out there for athletes. Like there's a couple guys that are working with former players in finding things to do in life after football, and you're out here busy all the time, which is that's the direct opposite. It's amazing. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today.
No
Yeah,
problem.
man, save the day for sure. That was a good one. So for things that you can't control, and me messaging you this morning, you definitely answered the call. So let's dig in. Man, your journey to Athletes Compound started with big dreams from a young boy born in Meridian, Mississippi. So like, what was your first sports memory, and how did it pave the path where you are today?
I think my first sports memory was like growing up where we from. I mean, we didn't idolize guys on TV because one, we didn't see them till only on the weekend, so it wasn't no. You could follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and see what they doing day to day. So, well, growing up where I'm from, we idolized, the top guys at the top guys that was in high school. Like we had high school legends that we all looked up to. So on Friday night for us at a basketball, Friday night football was a big thing where I'm from. Like everybody and their mama at the Friday night game. So as a little boy, all we would do is just sit in the stands as little kids and wait for the first touchdown to be scored. And when the whenever they score touchdown, they used to throw out these little miniature footballs. And it was just like, hey, somebody got to get a miniature football. And soon as that one kid get the miniature football, we behind the buses for the rest of the game in your Pee Wee uniform because the high school would play on Friday, and then we would have our Pee Wee games the following Saturday. So you knew who was playing the next Saturday because everybody had their jerseys on, and we would just sit out there. We called it pick up and tackle. Some people call it pick them up, bust them up. I mean, but that was like my first childhood memory of football because it was like, okay, this is what everybody doing. I want to be like the other kids and I want to be good. So, I mean, we played basketball here and there, but football was our thing. And to go out there with your peers at a young age and they accept you because, they see you as a good guy. I mean, that was that first one. And then, I had cousins that played on Friday nights too. And like looking up to those guys and getting the football so I can go behind the buses and emulate those guys. That was golden. Like we still today talk about like our I guess high school legends that was there because that's what we looked up to until we got to college.
Definitely. And that's why I think we love seeing all the little kids at the Edmonton Elks games, right? That they go all the way to the front when they're going around and throwing those little footballs because that's those kind of experiences that start shaping paths, right?
Yeah, those.
Shaping paths.
Yeah, no, that's it, right? That's where like we're kind of missing a little bit of that in Canada, right?
Mhm.
Down in the States, it's so much different, and that's a wholesome one, right? That's a humble one.
Totally. And you came up through the University of West Georgia and you totaled 126 tackles, 20.5 sacks, and 6 forced fumbles. You were named the All Golf South Conference twice in that span. So, how did your college experience prepare you for the next step in your football journey?
Man, it was very interesting. RIP to one of my best friends, John Perkins. He was really the one who inspired me to want to be better than what I was because, like I said, coming from where I'm from, we poor. Like we one of the poorest. We in the top 25 of poorest counties, nations in the U.S. So for us, just going to college was cool. Like okay, we here.
Mhm.
But when I got there, I'm with city kids. So now it's like hey man, y'all, you heard of so and so, you heard of so and so. I'm like, I don't know none of these people. And they was just looking at me like, bro, these dudes are ballers. And I'm just like, okay, I'm a baller too. So I mean, what's the difference? But then like after my freshman year, like I said, my best friend, he was first team all conference. I was just like, damn, I want an award too. Like, I feel like I was good, but you know what I'm saying? They got to explain, like, bro, we going against this. You gotta outbeat this guy. You gotta have more stats than this guy. So I'm like, oh, that's it. Like, I thought they just pick you. So I'm like, okay. So my sophomore year, it was just all about, hey, who was all American at my position, who was all conference at my position, and it was just like he had this amount of sacks, this amount of tackle for loss, and it was just like that's what I'm going for. So my thing was if I could get those stats, they gotta pick me. Yeah. And I was the same way with my same way with my homeboy because I was just like, dang, I looked at his stats and I'm like, oh, I see why they picked him as linebacker. So I was like, I want that to be me. So that's where that drive and that energy came from because I'm just like, I always wanted to be a guy that my teammates respected.
No, and I mean, you could definitely tell later on in your football career that's exactly what you built, especially up here in Canada, right? Now you didn't jump right from college right into the CFL, and while the NFL is generally the dream, instead you went the route of indoor football, getting drafted by the Spokane Shock and then playing with the Shock for a year. You were with a couple teams there, 4 years. 4 teams within your indoor years, bouncing between 3 teams for the 2008 season, and then you signed with the Calgary Stampeders in 2009, starting your run in Canada. So, did you know much about the CFL before you came up north?
Nah, I didn't. I actually hung up on Chris Jones when he called me to offer me a contract because I didn't believe it. I was like, well, this was when arena ball was kind of at its height, so guys were making good money playing arena ball, and I had just got a contract from the Columbus Destroyers, so I'm like, I finally got my little break. I'm finna make like $100,000 plus, so I'm like, thank you. And then a month later, the whole league folds, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm done with football, so I'm just finna you know, find myself in life, and he called me. Well, he gave me a workout after my birthday, which I knew. I'm like, man, this is after my birthday. I'm enjoying my birthday and whatever happened at the workout happened, but just so happened I killed the workout, and like I said, he called me like 3 days later, and I hung up on him because I'm just like, man, y'all don't want me for real. And he called back and was like, is that anything, your connection bad or something? I'm like, nah, I just hung up on you because I wanted to make sure it was real or not. So he called back and was like, yeah, man, it's real. I want to send you a contract today. You know, so I want to email you a contract. And I was just like, oh shit, this is for real. So that's when I started looking like, hey, let me look at the CFL and see what's what, you know what I'm saying? See what they talking about. And of course, when I start looking for defensive players, the first person I see is Cam Wake. And I'm just like, okay, he had 16 sacks. I can go do that because I almost did it in the Arena League. I played like 9 games. I had like 17 sacks. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm finna go kill this league too. But it wasn't as easy as everybody think it
No.
was. It wasn't as easy as everybody think it was because I got to Calgary. I'm like, okay. Then, like I said, I'm green. I don't know nothing. So I'm just like, okay, Calgary, we here. So we finna go play. You know, they had rookie camp. So I'm just like, cool. This rookie camp, easy. I'm killing everybody. And then a few hey. And then a few days later, well, we get a break, and then we come back to team meeting the next day, and it's like a whole new team. So okay, daddy's on the phone. So I'm like, where all these guys come from? And they're like, yeah, this the team. So I was just like, well, who those other guys we were just on? Cause I was killing them. Man. We got a whole new team.
I want those other guys. Yeah, where'd those other guys go?
So I'm just like, well, there goes my 20 sack season.
Yeah.
This is not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed it, and like I say, the rest is history.
Well,
we have Jason from the St. Peter's Roundup over here, of course, saying started with the best team, of course. So
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know about that, but
but the thing is, I could have helped them, but they love Charleston Hughes so much, so they didn't love me for real. So yeah, they can say that. But as soon as Charleston Hughes became available from the Eagles, they was like, all right, trade bait, bye kid.
Bye. Well, and then your journey continued with a couple of years in Winnipeg, then a stop in Saskatchewan, and then you landed at Edmonton, where you became a fan favorite. Did you know much about Edmonton and the organization? You were already in the CFL, or was that
Uh,
all new again?
crazy assumption. I used to say I didn't want to play for Edmonton because I didn't like the uniforms at the time. I'm just like them colors is not. And then it's like they didn't have nobody on the team that was really like making it look good. It was just like generic and basic, no gloves, no sleeves, no pizzazz. It's just like we businessmen right here. We put our hard hat on and go to work. All that pretty stuff out the window. So I'm just like, them colors is a stretch. You know what I'm saying? Then, like I said, I came in with Calgary with that black and red. I was just like, ooh, those are my favorite colors anyway. So I'm just like, it's almost perfect. Then, I went to Winnipeg and we had to figure it out a little bit, but it was still cool. But it was just like, I actually liked the Saskatchewan because, they had just got these new uniforms. So I was just like, cool, but we was getting our ass, we getting our butt whooped. So I'm just like, man, I got to get out of Regina. There's nothing over here but football, and football ain't fun when you lose. And then they win the cup the next year after I come to Edmonton. But once I came to Edmonton and, people started telling me about the history and all the tradition, of course, me being a football junkie, I started doing my homework myself. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, and the one thing that got me was I liked it because they say it's the city of champions. And I'm just like, I like that vibe. You know what I'm saying? The city of champions, that I can rock with that. So, like I said, it's been cool ever since I got here. And like I said, I'm still here. So,
Well, the city should have never gotten rid of the slogan. I don't know what we're doing. Put the signs back up.
I know everything should be back.
Yeah, but
yeah.
just like the Grey Cup should be back. And the last time the E won one of those coveted Grey Cups was 2015. You were on that team. Bow, 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 bow. And like in 2015, and I was there in Section X. Catherine had not been introduced to the E at that point, but 2015 was magical. It was a crazy run. Starts in Fort McMurray. You guys played the most northern game of football ever. I got to go to that one and see everything. Dexter McCoyle came in to make sure that game was won against the Riders. But, Odell, you had a massive role, a lot of sacks, a lot of somersaults. What was it like to finally become a Grey Cup champion? Like how like that feeling, that game, those moments.
I mean, it was great because we was at the bottom, like 13. We got here, and it was just basically, what I'm saying. All right, who's next? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna whoop our ass next? And it was just like, man, when is this gonna stop? And the funniest thing was Mike Riley always in my face after the game, like, hey man, remember this. Remember this. I'm just like, bro, we suck right now. Get out my face. We can't stop nobody. We done gave up 50 points. You done threw 4 or 5 picks. We suck, bro. I don't want to hear this. Get out my face. But he would do it every game. Like, man, remember this. Remember this. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then it was just like next year, we was basically winning, or we was in every game until the end. Like we went like 12-6, I think, something like that. But we was like the most penalized team in the league. We was averaging like 17 penalties, and Jones was like, and when we came in 15, Jones was like, man, we ain't finna do nothing different but change our penalties. And we was like, we basically had the same team in a sense, a few changes here and there, but he was like, he showed us the trend of the teams who won the Grey Cups and where they penalties was. So he was like, guys, if we can just go to 9, like, yeah, we had 17, 18 penalties. We can just get to 9, we would win. And we did even better. We only averaged 5 penalties a game that year. And the results was that we didn't do nothing different. Nothing changed. Same offense, same defense. We just became a more disciplined football team. And 14 and 4, you had to come see us. So I still think that's one of the best Grey Cup teams in history just because of what the defense did. I mean, of course, we had other Grey Cup teams, but that defense is still probably one of the best defenses in CFL history because we only gave up what 15.2 points a game, which CFL
Disgusting
ball
average.
Crazy.
that's amazing.
Gross. Like, I mean, and to watch that defense too, like that's where, I remember somersault after somersault. Looking at my buddy Clint, as we're at the Western Final, and offense wins games, but defense wins championship.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's the old adage, and that's how that 2015 season was.
Oh,
You had
sure.
to, like you said, you had to be there. It was amazing. To see the things that Michael Riley did, to see the things that you did. A Darius Bowman steady hands that year, like all of it. McCalvin McCarty with every block, like it was a true bone moments that we've had. Like everybody was a brotherhood out there. Um,
You followed Mike Riley to BC in 2018. And Edmonton was heartbroken, of course, but opportunity is opportunity. Later on in 2021, you finished your career after a stop in Toronto before finally hanging up the cleats. So, what did you know that it was time to retire?
Mamas, come here. I knew it was time to retire. I knew it was time to retire once this one came in the picture.
Yes.
So yeah, so once she popped up the Toronto year, I knew I was done because it was like, do I want to go to training camp or do I want to stay with my lady and have our first child? And she was a flight risk, so she couldn't fly. Her family, she actually has family in Toronto where she grew up at, but she was a flight risk, and I'm just like, hey, how we gonna get to how you want to do this? Cause I can't fly you over here, and I'm not about to leave you by yourself. Like, I done played enough football, so what we gonna do? She was like, go figure it out. So just like we had her like a week or so before training camp started. And I'm just like, that's too early. You ain't even healed up yet. So how am I gonna leave you? She was like, how about you just go set us something up and I'll make it. I was like, all right. I'm like, you sure? She was like, trust me, I'll make it. So we got out there. I got out there. Everything was cool. And they started having injuries. So I'm just like, oh, this is perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm the perfect plug person because Shane Ray had a hand injury, like a couple guys. So I'm just like, okay, what are we waiting for? And they was like, yeah, we're gonna put you on the practice roster for 2 weeks. I'm like, practice roster for what? Like, do you need to see anything? Like, I'm like, bro, I've been training, I'm working, I'm ready to go. Like, certain plays, somebody could tell me what to play. Like, let's not act like that. I'm a vet in this game. I can help them. They were just like, no. So I'm just like, well, I mean, I done played 13 years, bro. Y'all can send me back home if y'all gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, well, if you want to stay around, I'm like, nah, man, I got a new family. I want to go enjoy it, not be sitting around here worried about am I gonna play or not. So yeah, once I had her, she made it clear with my decisions on what I wanted to do. Like I got sacks, I got a ring. What else I need?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm here to enjoy life and play with this little baby girl right here.
well, and like retiring didn't mean you were done making an impact for Canadian football. Sometime after working around Edmonton, talked to you down in Section X there, and we caught up on life in between then and now. And you were working, I believe, at PME, and then you found your true calling in the creation of Athletes Compound, a training and development gym for prospects and athletes here in Canada and specifically in Edmonton. But you're making an impact across Canada. So, how did Athletes Compound come to fruition?
Athletes Compound basically came about, because like I said, players, you do enough appearances and you have plenty of kids. I always want them, hey boy. you have plenty of kids always want to know, hey, what does it take to get better with the Wolves? So I'm just like, you know what? I started training kids for fun, and just a little side deal. And I'm like, I kind of enjoy this. And then, this was before I retired. And then I was asking a couple of my Canadian buddies, like, why has it never been a Canadian superstar quarterback in this league? Like
Yeah.
Nathan Rourke is about the closest thing
That's
we done
true.
had, yeah, well, the league done had in a whole 100 years. Like, where's the Canadian superstar? The league that had Canadian running back superstars or linemen, receivers. They done had every position except the quarterback. So I started driving around to see like how's the development of Canadian football, because where we from, we start at 5 and it's intense all the way till you get, until you make it or you don't make it. So here, I'm like, it's not as intense because like calling a spade, the programs don't take the time out to invest into the kids like they would a soccer or a hockey. Whereas for us, it's football year round. You either playing, you lifting, you got off season training. So I'm like, cool. Let me step into that world because, like I said, it's a lot of kids in Edmonton and in Canada with talent that can play. So that's when I was like, you know what? Compound, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's been one of the best things I've ever did, since playing football.
And trying to make the next Canadian superstar. I think like that's what you're trying to do here. You're trying to flip the script there.
Basically, that's what I'm trying to do because the kids here has talent, and the thing is, they need the exposure. That's all they need. These kids, like in the states, it's about, like I said, it's football heaven. Coaches that grew up in it, they know where they know places to go and things of that nature. But up here, all we have is developmental programs.
Right.
We have football Alberta, a good developmental program. You got the select developmental program. But okay, after all this development, it's time to display this talent. Because if you only develop, when are you gonna be able to show it? So
Exactly.
those programs do a great job of developing talent. And I just, you know what? I'm gonna put that talent on display because it's plenty of talent here and it deserves to be on display because at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is the NFL. Whether you're in Canada, Europe, don't matter what. You make it to the CFL from Canada, everybody gonna praise you. If you
Yeah.
don't make it, guess what? You got the CFL, which is a great fallback tool for a lot of Canadians. Because for Americans, if we don't make it, we just got the UFL and things of those natures. But
Mhm.
for here, as a Canadian kid, okay, I'm gonna shoot for the moon. If I don't make it, I have Canada. And the thing is that I found that if you look at it, the CFL is built off American Canadians. And what I mean by that is Canadians that have been in the States playing football
Mhm.
their whole college career,
Mhm.
where if they don't make the NFL, guess what? We want you on our net leagues and you going first or second round.
Yeah.
Very rare do you see like a Taylor Elgersma scenario, right? It's always a
E-
Curtis Rourke type of scenario where maybe he doesn't. Who knows where his path is,
Mhm.
right? But he played NCAA. Same deal with Nathan Rourke. These athletes that are playing down in the states, they're Canadian. They can claim Canadian, just like Joe DeBlanco. Joe DeBlanco declared and then came up to
Mhm.
the Double E, right?
Exactly.
Cincinnati
And
Bearcats. That's a huge program.
Yeah.
exactly. And then, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because they were like, ha, you sending guys to the States. But I'm like, I'm not just sending guys to the States. I just sending guys a place where they could finish living out their dreams. So whether it's to the States, whether it's youth sports, whether it's junior balls, my job
Mhm.
is to help you get to the next level. And see,
Mhm.
that's where people get the wrong impression of like, hey, you sending kids to the States, you sending kids to the States. I'm like, no, because everybody's not going to be able to make it to the States because guess what? Yeah, I like you here, but how do you compare to the kids in the States? For example, I had a few kids to get scholarships, actually a lot of kids. But the coaches was like, hey, your offer only stands if you come to camp next year, next summer, and we see you with the rest of the guys. So yes, we have a scholarship offer for you, but for that scholarship to be committable and for it to stand, we just want to see you in camp and compete against
Mhm.
other American talent, which I
Mhm.
think that's a no-brainer for a parent. You telling the parent, hey, for free schooling, we just need to see your kid for a day down here. And
Come on.
man, y'all parents packing up, flying. I don't, and it don't matter the school because at the end of the day, it's free education.
Yes.
That
And, and
especially in the States with how expensive it is.
In
no matter
general,
where,
it don't
no matter
matter.
where it is, free education is free
Yeah,
education.
100%.
So, so
No,
people forget that free education don't because they were like, oh, this school is not credible or this school has a terrible graduation rate.
Hmm.
So my thing is that is like, well, do you go to the doctor and ask him where he got his degree from, or do you ask to be healed?
yeah.
Yeah. No, that is very, very true. And we do
Right.
have Darren here in the chat saying, "Good on you, Adele. We need to build a talent pipeline from Canada into pro football."
Don't
Yeah.
worry, it's coming because in 2 years I done had over 30 scholarship offers from my
Love,
program into Canada. So
love it.
it's
Something's
the
working.
pipeline is working. And
Something's
and
working.
and if people want to go into more detail about why am I doing what I'm doing, because guess what? It works. I have receipts, so I don't have to go back and forth. I have the receipts, so if they want to see the receipts, we can easily
Yeah.
show them.
Yeah, and Stampeders Roundup
Mhm.
also here. Start finding the talent and develop
Mhm.
them while they are young. You got it 100% right, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I mean, fans are obviously a big proponent of what you're doing here. We are getting close to our 30-minute mark here, so do you want to go through Herd Chat
Yeah, we do have a
questions?
couple of questions over here. We have one from Peter's Roundup. Jason over here is saying, "Hey, Adele, you played for 7 of 9 CFL teams. Without being biased, which one do you enjoy playing with most?"
I enjoyed the Winnipeg team, and then I enjoyed it go Winnipeg in the 2011 Winnipeg team, 2015 and 16, and actually 17 Edmonton team, and Wally last year in BC, the 2018 team. Those are my favorite teams.
All of them.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but I noticed 2013 Eskimos
Yes.
wasn't in there, so definitely not all of
Awesome.
them. And then we have another question here. This is from Darren Popovich. What up, Darren? Odell, what are your thoughts on the Double E front seven going into 2025? Interested on your thoughts on Robbie Smith.
I mean, he's an up and coming, good Canadian talent. I think him and Jake Ceresna work well together, and it makes it even better that you got Coach Demetrius Maxey coaching those guys up. I think they have a good rotation up front. You got young the linebacker that won the award next year.
Nick
Uh,
Anderson.
yeah, Nick Anderson. I'm looking forward to having him a big year. Him and Niles did some real good things, but like I said, I'm looking forward to Nick to having a good year. Well, to see if he can produce again because um, they always say, yeah, first year that's on you, but now that they got film on you, what you gonna do? So I'm very confident in like I say, the guys. I haven't got a chance to watch them yet, but I think they're gonna be real good. Like I said, with Cole Massey and JC Sherritt, guys that know the game, they know what the tradition is here. I mean, a lot of it is a no-brainer. It's just, waiting to see how fast that they can click together, how fast that the team can gel together by knowing each other, how they play. I think they'll be real good though this year. I'm still rocking with my boys regardless.
Let's go.
Love it.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a really good year. I think that there's a lot of improvements as well. We're gonna talk a lot about it after you're off of here. We are gonna let you go here momentarily because I know that you got your family to
Yep.
attend to, and
Yeah, we have one last question over here
Kate.
from Jason. Most important question of all: how can podcasters like us and fans help to get involved with what you're doing?
That's a good question.
Man, and I'm glad. That's a great question. So what I would like to do is get I would like for all the podcasters to send me like their information because like I say, what I'm what I'm doing for not only the Edmonton kids but this country, I think is major because think about it. Where can a college go up here and just say, "Hey, I'm looking for the best high school football player in the country"?
Yeah.
So I think the more that I can connect with with podcasters like yourself and Stampeders Roundup, where we can get out, hey, even just once a month. It don't have to be some regular, once or maybe twice a month. About having a segment about, hey, this is the next up and coming high school kid or the next up and coming high school player. Prime example, Harry only got probably one of the top O lineman, D lineman coming out in the country this year, and nobody really knows about it. You know what I'm saying? His name is Cooper Troy. So I want to make sure guys like him get that exposure that they deserve. And not just him, it's guys in other Providence that's just like a Cooper Troy. But guess what? Nobody knows about it because nobody's sending his film out there. Nobody's talking about him. So I would like for the podcasters, almost in a sense, that let's just come together and have a segment on top high school players
I
because
love it.
because what the showcase does, we have a rep in each province, all the way from Quebec, with QB movement, Miles Gibbons. We got Shamad in Toronto and Ontario. We have Keto Publa in Winnipeg. We have Jordan Lennon that's in Vancouver, and then you have myself that's in Edmonton. So we're all across the country where we have our top guys that's in our programs, and we would like other people to send us their top guys so we can get that exposure out there because these kids deserve it. And if nobody does it, how can our kids get on a 247 sports or overtime if nobody's putting the kids out there?
Like provincial prospect of the month or something like that, right? Like
Love
something.
Exactly.
And you
And
know,
it don't have to be a big list of kids
uh
because we know our list of kids is not like the states. We could just take the top 5 kids from each
mhm.
province and we could just make a show and make sure people are tuned into these kids. Now kids in Edmonton are paying attention to kids in Toronto, like, hey, they said this was the top guy. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
instead of kids looking at kids in the States saying, oh, he's good, how about we look at ourselves and talk about ourselves and pump ourselves up because ain't no only things setting us apart from the kids in the States is that border.
Love
Well,
it.
and like let's say it's Carson Hartman, right? He's a big prospect right now.
Oh yeah, he's another one
So
from
he's
Salisbury.
and he like we always like pump his stuff. We got to shoot him down at the IFAF World U20 or U19 or U20 World
Yep.
Cup. Sorry. So like I got to know him through the lens through there, and then obviously befriended him on X, and then we're trying to pump him up a little bit because who knows where he'll go, and we're following his journey, and his journey is intertwining with yours, Football Alberta, like everything else. Like it's cool to see it all intertwine, and you're part of that web now, Odell. You are
Yeah.
part of the fiber of the rise of Canadian football grassroots, or the resurgence. Sorry,
I
like
love it.
Yes.
and
Yes, I want
part of the
I want to
solution.
be a pillar for it. I want to be a pillar, and I like I say, I want to work with everybody because it's not about me. I done had my time. It's about these kids. So I would like to partner with whoever that's willing to help me help these kids. And because at the end of the day, like I said, it's about them and getting that. The more exposure we can get on these kids, the more exposure we bring to this country. And it all goes back to the draft because if we can breed our homegrown talent, they don't have to always leave. But guess what? They always leave because they're talented enough, and that's what we want. Look at the CFL draft. There's 9 teams in the CFL draft. 7 picks were American Canadians.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Not
So
enough Canadian
Not enough.
Canadians.
Yeah.
Well, no,
exactly.
That's
So
good.
it's like the last 10 years, the first pick of the CFL draft have been a Canadian that's played in the States. Like
Mhm.
yeah.
let's
No,
let's let's get a Canadian drafted in the NFL. How about that?
I love it. We'll make it
Like,
happen.
let's not.
Seriously,
Oh,
though.
he got
We'll
drafted
make it
fifth
happen.
round. All that. Like, let's breed more Canadians where they can leave from here and not have to go venture in the states.
Mhm.
Because if you look at that NFL Canada list that they put out not too long ago, out of it's 35 players, you got 3 U Sport players.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. Why do they have to leave home to
Yeah.
go get that? How about we come together and develop these kids better where they can get more exposure without having to leave their families there?
And that's where once again, like Taylor Elgersma is just such a unicorn scenario because, like you said, it's always a Canadian that goes down and plays in the States. Instead, this was a guy who did it in Laurier and U Sports. Like,
Exactly.
that's what we need more of. You're part of the solution, Odell. Yeah, we're Shotgun Sports Network. We have quite a few podcasts ranging across the team, so we'll definitely be in touch. But we will let you go. We don't want to keep you any longer, but awesome
Are
chat.
we good? Whatever we
Man,
are.
man, man,
Let's go.
we could talk for so long.
Yeah, y'all done got me started now. It's y'all fault.
Love it.
I love it.
That Canadian high school prospect showcase. Recommend that everybody goes on to Athletes Compound and checks out some of the slick clips, some of the work that Odell is doing. If you want to get involved, Odell just said, hit him up, any of our podcast friends. Where can our viewers find yourself and Athletes Compound on the social medias and online?
Man, first you can always come to me first. Odell Willis. My Instagram is Country Cane with a K 205. If you can't find that, you can go to Athletes Compound itself. We have a page there, and if you want to get involved with helping these kids get exposure, you can go to our showcase page at Can Football Showcase, and you can see all the kids that we're helping. Like I said, we're currently 31 scholarship plus in 2 years. IMG has in 2 years, IMG has selected 11 kids. So that's a big deal within itself because if you know anything about IMG, it's self-explanatory. So, like I say, it's about the kids. So y'all go over to Canadian High School Football Showcase. Check
Love
them out,
it.
man. We support the kids, man. Like I said, we getting kids offers, and we just bringing exposure to not only Edmonton but to this country and shining the light on youth football.
Yeah, and do you have any big events or any showcases coming up?
Oh yes, we actually have actually 2 more showcases that we're working on. We just had our national showcase. Edmonton will always be the home of the national showcase just because this is where we started at. But we're planning on 2 more showcases coming up to end the year. One in Montreal, well, Quebec, Montreal, whichever one. But we're going there because there's a lot of football talent over there, and we'll be making a stop in either Toronto or Winnipeg before then. But we're definitely doing more showcases because, like I said, we want to get more exposure for these kids. We actually had our first regional showcase this year in Toronto in January. Shamad did that one. He had like 100 kids there. The MVPs from that showcase, they won basically the golden ticket to come to the national showcase for free, and 3 of those kids currently has 2 has invites to colleges for their prospect camps, and we currently have 1 in talks with IMG.
Beauty.
Awesome.
No, Shmad Chambers, also former Laurier, awesome guy. So,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
man. Athletes Compound, once again, everybody, if you have not done so already, go check him out. Odell, we cannot thank you enough for joining us tonight. Pew, 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 pew. Man, this has been a blast. We're going to see you again soon. We didn't even talk about the East to the West. Happy Turkey Day. So, we're going to have you on another time. Simply the best, my friend. Simply the best. Man, thanks again. We hope you have yourself an awesome night and hope to catch you again soon, man.
Thank you so
No
much.
problem. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having me on, and I hope y'all have an even better night and everybody enjoy the show.
Thanks a lot,
Much.
man.
Have a good
Appreciate it.
night.
Cheers.
Appreciate y'all.
And that was number 41, former Edmonton Eskimo. now known as the Elks. Odell Willis, ladies and gentlemen, just got to give another applause.
That was great.
It's cool when you have a conversation with somebody and you don't know which direction it's going to go.
Yeah.
And, the conversation went the way of, once again, the grassroots movement, something that we talk about often on the show.
And it's very different, right? I mean, his main focus is in high school football, which we have talked about before, and we know that it's not a very I don't want to say relevant, prevalent, right? It's not something that really is important here in Canada, and it definitely should be, because that's where the talent is coming from.
Yeah,
so
but
the fact that it's not being showcased and placed that much importance like in the States, it's definitely something that can change and should change.
Should change. I mean, we do not support Canadian football enough. There's a really good argument about, the IFAF.
Right.
We had a picture with the Lombardi Trophy, and somebody had asked, where's the Grey Cup? And Mike Kelly, who is coach of that U20 team, the men's American team, which was that had some pretty bad results in that tournament for a team that should have won. But Mike Kelly was saying, he's like, what happened here? Where is the Grey Cup? Why isn't the CFL involved? Besides the fact that you're playing in a CFL stadium.
It's like we're in Canada.
Yeah, and the Lombardi Trophy is there, and I touched it. I touched that trophy.
Yeah, you shouldn't have.
I don't care. I got in trouble, but I touched the trophy because I got a thing about touching trophies. And but when you have Mike Kelly, who coached that team and loves the CFL, Mike Kelly has an NFL pension. That's the thing that people don't remember. Like, Mike Kelly has got a really big resume, despite the fact that he lost in that game and this and that, whatever, in that tournament. That doesn't change what he's done for Canadian football and really American football.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, very, very interesting. You're the CFL. It's in a CFL stadium, and you're not out there promoting with the Grey Cup. There's going to be minimal cost to that. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyways, getting back to the show. Stampeders Roundup here. What a guy. I guess I can forgive him for not saying the Stamps were one of his favorite teams to play for. He was talking about specific years, and he did not have fun playing with that team that year. And you know what? I don't blame him. ABC, as we say.
That's what happens when you're Calgary.
ABC. That's what happens when you're Calgary. I like that. That's great.
But yeah, how do we move on from that?
Well, so we're gonna get right back into the show right about now. First of all, thanks everybody for tuning into the show tonight. Season 3 premiere. Season 3, welcome back. We haven't fully even gotten to say welcome back to everybody. Thanks a lot for waiting for us to get the show back on. As you see, we're in the studio, which is
still needs a little bit of work.
We're working on it. If you have studio suggestions, please throw them into the Herd chat. We would love to see them.
Gotta work on this lighting here.
Our lighting is a little bit interesting, but we'll get there.
And you don't want to see the wallpaper that's behind this, but
terrifying. It is very terrifying. A little bit of appreciation here for Kathy for helping get me through to this point as well. It's been quite the roller coaster. The last time I was live on Shotgun Sports was for the CFL draft special, and I was going through broncho pneumonia and did not know that's what I was going through.
What it was.
I'm like, yeah, guys, it wouldn't be a CFL draft special without being sick, and then all of a sudden I was really sick, so I had to go to the doctors a couple times for that one. And then we did a move, and I don't think anybody prepares you for moving past the age of 30.
Yeah.
So that really sucked. I'm not gonna lie. That was
really
delightful. But now we have a table, we have mic stands. We're not lounging on a couch anymore. No. Even though I kind of missed that setup, it was also really hard on the back.
That's what I was going to say. It was very difficult getting off of that chair, that couch.
Hashtag sucked.
Tell me you're over the age of 30 when.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, as far as booking a guest, for whatever reason, we seem to have some issues with this one. We did want to try to get somebody from the WE organization on the show, but I forgot that we had gotten lucky last year. So my planning was a little bit messed up. And then, the Edmonton Elks tried to help us. Unfortunately, stuff out of their control as well. So here we are today. Odell Willis saves the day, comes in, has a fantastic story. And now we have guests for the next 5 weeks. Yeah. So we have a lot of guests lined up, more Double E alumni, that's for darn sure. Got some other members of the sports community as well that are going to be jumping on. Very exciting. So
Yeah.
you know, we have some very, very fun shows up ahead. Probably some giveaways. It's a game week. How much more can we be excited about?
I know. Well, let's get to it and let's talk about this team.
Well, okay, then that means we have Kathy's Herd Report coming right up, where we talk about recent news, transactions, and everything else. Today's Herd Report is brought to you by the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast. Oz and Joe have you covered all about the latest happenings in the CFL across multiple borders. Multiple. One of them isn't even in America, but they are Americans talking about Canadian football. It's Rouge, White, and Blue, only on SSN, Shotgun Sports Network. All right.
All right.
What do we got?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Always Edmonton.
It's always Edmonton.
Always Edmonton. So that's the new Edmonton Elks slogan. That's what they have when you search Edmonton Elks. That's what comes up, and that's what they had in their shirts. And you know what? I'm all for it. Oh, there you go. You were dying to wear that while Odell was in here.
Yeah, I should have had it on.
Yeah. But anyways, going back to it, you know, it is clear that they're starting to focus a little bit more on the double E branding. You know, slowly starting to phase out things related to this little logo over here that I have, or even the antlers up. I don't think we're going to see that.
But did you notice that the sideline apparel still has the elk? And that's because that's years in advance,
exactly.
Right?
I mean, it takes a lot of money to completely change branding and anything like that. So I'm pretty sure we'll still continue to see it. But it is very interesting that a lot of little subtle things are happening. You know, now the logo is a double E, and now we have Always Edmonton, which is very patriotic, in my opinion. So I like it.
Very municipality.
I know.
Municipalistic.
It's not quite Canadian-wide, but you know what I mean.
Regional, very regional. Regional patriotism.
Regional patriotism. But let's talk
ABC.
Transactions. And I mean, I'm not going to give you a full list. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. The Elks sure were busy since free agency. They signed over 20 players and released just as many before training camp.
Yeah.
And of course, the roster will continue to be adjusted before the regular season starts. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on the list.
Yeah.
I mean, for now, let's just talk about some of the most recent ones. I know there were a couple of things that were a little that you mentioned were a little weird.
Okay, let's talk about these transactions because, you know, obviously we're not going to go through all of the cuts. There's been a lot of cuts. We kind of recognize where, you know, some of these guys are jobbers, but some of these guys have opportunities. Some of these guys have played well as well.
Well, of course, but you only have so many spots in a roster, right? Even in Fan Day, we were talking about this, saying how, you know, there's a lot of new faces that we don't necessarily recognize. And you don't want to get too attached either, because you know that there's going to be a lot of cuts still. We don't know.
But you can't forget Steven Stevens. I'll say that, but Steven twice.
Yes, Steven
Stevens. But yeah, let's take a look at. I believe it was May 14th. I want to say May 14th. So some of the names that stood out. I'm going to say Josh Landry. That was a little bit interesting. Jonathan Guastini.
That he was released. Yeah,
released. Yeah, because that was a cut day, right? So they trimmed the roster by 8 on May 14th. Jonathan Guastini was a U of A Golden Bear. So that's a national. Losing Jonathan Guastini, cutting Jonathan Guastini. You're not losing him at that point, but cutting him, I think that was a bit interesting.
Yeah, we have Darren here in the chat. I don't want to say that name if you can say it for me.
Yeah, Odom's Dukes was an interesting pickup and drop. I agree. I agree.
I didn't want to butcher that because I know that I would.
Well, and it was a little bit of a commitment, but I think it's interesting in the sense that, you know, you kind of gambled a little bit, and for whatever reason, it didn't pay off. I want to say he was D-back. Was he D-back?
American wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, it was wide receiver D-back. And he got caught up in the numbers games. Like when they signed Alex Hollins, This is game over for quite a few wide receiver prospects, right?
That's just it.
Which
Very
is
competitive.
CJ Hutton, right? Was another one.
Yeah, but he was on.
That was on May 19th.
He was released.
So you're starting to see now this roster really take shape. Wide receivers, you're working pretty hard out there, even just to get a PR spot, right? Another one now, the signing of American quarterback Cole Snyder. I think that's a bit interesting. He's coming in with some hype. Is he going to be competing for that QB3 spot? You know, I would say at this point that's a good prospect. So the quarterback battle for QB3 is going to be a little bit interesting coming down to the wire. We're going to see this weekend. We're going to see in two days. Like 2 days until we have double E football back.
Well, I know that between preseason games and regular season, that's when you start seeing a lot of the heavy cuts as well. And more, like you say, it's a numbers game at that point, right? Very competitive. People are now playing to keep a spot, essentially, because there's too many.
Well, yeah, and that's where, you know, that's where you're splitting hairs. Like in the offseason, they signed a lot of their starters. They knew who their starters were going to be, right? So,
and I mean, okay, so as of now, how are we looking in offense? You know, we have Trey Ford leading the herd, and and also we see the return of the likes of Justin Rankin, Javon Leake, and our good old boys in the O-line, Martez Ivey, Mark Horty, and Brett Boyko. Then we also have the additions of Stephen Dunbar Jr., Alexander Hollins, and Canadian Keon Julian Grant, who, of course, are sure to make an impact.
In addition to, you know, you did mention Justin Rankin, but Curly Gittens Jr.
Yeah.
You can't sleep on KGJ.
No, those I'm talking about, like signups and re-signs.
Yeah.
So, but no, of course we have the, you know, the players that still have a contract. They're still with the team for another year or so.
That's what I'm saying. Like with these additions to what you already have, the offense looks scary. Yeah. And not like the McLeod Bethel Thompson scary from last year. Okay. I feel
like we always say this every year, but I don't want to.
But it's true because coaching showed the difference last year. Coaching showed the difference between Chris Jones and even J-Jack. Things change, and now you got Mark Killam in the mix. Yeah. And I will tell you, from being at training camp, Mark Killam's coaching style is a 180. Yeah. Chris Jones was more of a kingmaker. Chris Jones was more of a point of finger and you do your job. That's how Chris Jones operated. Mark Killam is out there talking with these guys 24/7. Like, see, look, this is what happens when you do this. He's more of a why method guy. You want to know the why? Here it is.
Well, and you see it whenever you talk to any of the players and they happen to mention Mark Killam, it's always that, right? It's not saying he's better than, but it's different. The coaching style is different. The way that it's being approached is different. Yeah. And I think the players are really resonating with it.
And very receptive to it.
Yeah, they feel heard. They feel seen a little bit more. And I think that's definitely going to help with the confidence that they're bringing in.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not the NFL where, you know, you have a lot more of those kingmaker types. And now you're seeing, you know, where the, you know, where those other coaches, like maybe more of a Robert Saleh, like, rah guy, like players coach. Matt LaFleur is a little bit more of a players coach. Like seeing these guys that are now more vocal and now, you know, making more of a community and more of a family environment. Sorry, maybe not community, but family environment for sure. As opposed to pointing and saying, "Yo, do your job."
Definitely.
So I mean, it's cool to see that coaching style, and then of course, it resonates throughout the rest of the team, throughout the rest of the coaching staff. Like, you know, offense, Steven Sorrells, he can consistently go ahead and continue his job from last year. He's one of few coaches that made it over. Yeah. Because on defense.
Yeah, well, let's talk about defense. And we have veteran Marcus Lewis, of course, top linebackers Niles Morgan and Nick Anderson. New additions of Robbie Smith, Tyrell Ford, and the return of Jake Seresna. So, seriously, I'm really excited to watch this defense play.
Well, yeah. I mean, the linebacker corps alone. I mean, you also got Joel DeBlanco, and Atiba Malcolm-Clements doing the special teams thing. You know, they're looking to elevate their game and kind of make it into that starter's role. Probably waiting on an injury at this point. No idea who's at Sam yet. I want to say I know based on who we've picked up, but that could be a battle that we see. That could also be another PR spot as well. Like, maybe linebacker at PR, right, in practice roster. But the defense should perform a lot better. The D-line got a complete upgrade. D-line saw some of the most changes, but a lot of Canadians in at that spot too. Like, you need your ratio breaking Canadians.
Yeah. I agree. No, it's going to be really interesting. Oh, we have a comment over here from Darren. So you're saying we now have a coach. We're gonna kill him.
Oh, that's a good one. I like it, Daryl.
You gotta put that
on
Darren,
a shirt. Sorry, Darren.
You gotta put that on a shirt.
Yeah, and Darren also did say Julian Grant is a baller and a big play guy. Yeah. Alex Hollins too on the offense. He's somebody I'm excited about. Tyrell Ford. Yeah. The story of Tyrell Ford joining Edmonton when Trey Ford technically did not want to sign back in Edmonton, especially under the old regime and how things were going. Chris Morris is doing that work. The sponsorships are getting bigger. I mean, we're gonna talk about the Play Alberta thing. We're gonna talk about it in the fan forum. So if you're here for a fan forum and to talk about the Play Alberta field fiasco, which is it's not much of a fiasco. We've had naming rights on the turf before. It hasn't been the brick field for a hot minute. I think like the first year that you came back, or that you started watching.
And we knew that sponsors are needed for sure, but we'll talk about it.
Let's talk about it in a bit. We don't want to save it for the show, Catherine. Save it for the show.
Do you think that there are still gaps? The one position that I haven't really heard much, and we're not really sure exactly what is going on, is kicker, punter. What do you think is going on there? Are we in a good position?
Well, we're going to have a shootout this weekend. I want to say between the kickers. So Campbell Fair and Vincent Blanchard are going to be dueling to get that starting kicker job. Cody Grace, I believe, is our punter. And he's actually been looking good. His targeting has been good from what I've seen in training camp. Haven't been at training camp very much this season. Wish I was down there a little bit more, unfortunately. Life first. We're in the middle of this move. We had to build this studio. But usually I'd be down there a little bit more. But I'm probably going to make it back at some point here. Maybe even this weekend. Who knows? Yeah. Well, no, this weekend we have a game, and then they're probably going to get a rest day. So maybe not this weekend. But is there gaps? Are there gaps? I am a little bit terrified about the kickers now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this team has not had a proper kicker, and you know what? I'm going to say minus the Sergio Castillo year. Because Sergio had a bad year. He's still a good kicker.
Yeah, it just happened to be the 1 year that was here.
And John Ryan was punter. Yeah, sorry, John Ryan was punter. Yeah. Who was our kicker that year when John Ryan was here? Was it Dean?
I can't remember.
Can't remember.
Or
no, that would have been Sergio, I think, that year.
I can't remember.
Either way, it's been a minute, but we just that's the thing, right? You can't remember. And I think that's
nobody has been. I mean, Dean Faithful has been memorable, but not for the right reasons.
Had a rough go, Chris Jones wouldn't let him punt past 35 and 40s. And, he didn't have the greatest run, but what he did do is get a win against Calgary and do the Queen Wave off. One of the best moments in Double E history.
Fantastic guy, but not necessarily the best that we've seen. So hopefully we get to see something a little bit different this weekend. Like you say, it's going to be a battle.
Well, and this is what I want to watch for. Let's play this one real quick before we move on. And Herd Chat, get in here on this question before we move on to the Edmonton Sports update. But what are you looking forward to in our first preseason game in so long, in a year basically? But what are you looking for? Are you looking for the battle of the backups at quarterback? Because Fajardo's more than likely starting. because they're going to say
of
Trey
course.
Ford for
Yeah,
a
of
quarter in
course.
Edmonton, right? We got to see Trey Ford. So what do you want to see? What are you watching for, Catherine? What are you watching for?
I don't know. It's hard to say. It's so hard to say in preseason, especially because of that. You're not necessarily seeing your starters. You don't get to really get a good feel of what team is going to play. Right. So it's hard to say, but what I do want to see is that how that chemistry within the team is going to look like. If there's any big changes in the coach and the way that they play based on the coaching style. Right?
Yeah.
Is there big differences that we see that have happened in the offseason? And are they because of the different coaching styles? Right. So it'll be interesting to see. Once again, hard to say.
But you're watching for like coaching stuff.
Yeah. Because I'm not really going to be focusing too much on the players, seeing that once again, we're probably not really going to see the starters. So,
but there's storylines. There's storylines.
I mean,
You
sure,
gotta go
I'll
for
see
the storylines.
Fajardo, but
yeah. Let's see if Fajardo balls out. Like that's a crazy backup right there. For me, I'm interested in the kicking game. What the heck is going to happen with these kickers and who's going to get the job?
This is part A. I think that's a must. I think we have to figure that one out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, no, and I mean, we do need to have somebody that can get it through the uprights. You need your 3 points.
Listen, more than 35 yards for sure.
Well, that's the storyline though. Are they going to make it past that 40-yard mark? Because even in scrimmage, apparently there was a couple of nasty misses, but they were doing good in training camp. That's the thing with training camp. Sometimes you can do great in practice, and especially preseason. You can do fantastic in practice, and then when it comes to game scenario, you absolutely flop. And what sucks is that this is your 2-game opportunity.
Yeah.
For some players, we've seen players that have shine brightly in training camp, but then all of a sudden it comes to that preseason game day scenario and just can't mesh.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. Darren in the herd chat. I love this. Receiver 6 and 9. Mathis, Rosemy, Jack Saint, Lap, Victor, Jackson, Middlemost, Gregeth, and Hereford. And I will tell you right now, we will be keeping an eye out for our boy, Colby Hereford, who happens to be our boys' teacher's assistant over at the school that they go to. So Colby Hereford, awesome guy.
This guy was the biggest fan.
I'm biggest fan of Jake Seresna. Colby, I said that to make him feel special that day, but I am indeed a big fan of Colby Hereford. But Jake Seresna is up there. But
I'm going to show him this clip.
Here we go. I'm busted. Colby Hereford hates him. Discover the 10 reasons why. And then want to see who brings it by Darren. I also like this one from Game Day, baby. Let's go. I would like to see the O-line protection and run blocking. That is very interesting, and I was going to bring it up. Who are they going to bring down to Calgary? Are we going to see a little bit of Cordy?
Well, and that's just it. You don't know. I mean, you usually don't expect starters to be in preseason for that. I mean, you don't want them to get injured. You want to kind of save that for the regular season. But it would be really nice to see if they actually, maybe even for, I don't know, maybe here you go, going back to periods versus quarters.
Too much hockey in Edmonton.
It's that time.
It's that time of year.
It's going to take us a little while. But, maybe getting, just the first line going in for a quarter and see what they're doing, right? Hopefully we can see that.
Oh, lavish smoke here in the herd chat. Watch the linebacker Isbell. I like that. Keep an eye out this weekend for Isbell. Obviously still on the roster right now after the first round of cuts or first couple rounds. So, I mean, we're going to keep an eye. I'll keep an eye.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I like it. So wait, we have a game this week.
Yeah, what comes next is the first preseason game this Saturday, May 24th at 7:30 p.m. against the Calgary Stampeders. So make sure you tune in to watch or travel to Calgary, really, if you want to find.
Nobody wants to go to Cal, but I mean, for preseason.
Yeah. Finally get your itch scratched because football is back.
Football is back.
So.
Football is back. And if you are going to buy tickets, Section O Section O, Matt Machado, has tickets.
For preseason.
So
as
for
well?
preseason
Okay.
and for Labor Day, Operation Occupy McMahon, go support Section O because he does this for everybody every year. He gets a section right dedicated to Double E fans down in Calgary. So if you are interested in going down to Calgary for the game, find his post in the Facebook group or DM us. We have it saved. We can get you in touch with Matt Machado and the O's. Ooh, I'm talking a lot.
Yes.
And we will get you hooked up with that information.
There you go.
All right.
All right. What
Catch my
comes
breath.
next? What comes next?
What comes next? I think we have ourselves a little Edmonton Sports update.
All right.
Oh, can't forget that. It's been so long.
Oh gosh, that's.
It's been so long. And I'm dying. Can I please have some water? I'm dying over here.
Some technical difficulties. I mean, not technical, but
Drinknical
Jeez.
difficulties. All right, your Edmonton Oilers are back in the Western Conference Final, suffering defeat to the Dallas Stars last night to go down 1 in the best-of-7 series by a score of 6-3. They'll continue the mission back to the finals in Dallas tomorrow night. Puck drop is at 6 p.m. Mountain. Your Edmonton Elks play football this weekend. The Elks travel to Cowtown for a preseason battle against the Calgary Stampeders. Kickoff is at 7:30 p.m. Mountain. Rising boxing star Alexis Kubicki out of Edmonton faces off against Alejandra Yamil Hernandez Mendoza tomorrow night at the River Cree for the World Council of Boxing's International Women's Title. Doors open at 5 and the fights start at 7, brought to you by Alliance Boxing Promotions. Don't forget that Love Pro Wrestling has events every month, with their next event with the Clandestine Wrestling Society on May 29th, and then the main event on May 30th. With tickets as low as $10, you don't want to miss out. Head on down to the Rec Room South. We're the Elks Herd. You're up to date. Made it through. We're good.
Yeah, there you go. Good job.
Money. Yeah, and a big shout out to our viewers. Season 3, we're back at it in a new studio once again. And we couldn't be more thankful to be rocking with you and that you guys are rocking with us. So hit up the like, hit up the subscribe. Tell your friends about the show. You can find us on EST tomorrow night. With the Oilers game, I don't know how that's going to work. I think the Oilers game is going to take priority over there. But
yeah, we'll get bumped.
Yeah,
sure.
we're
That's
And
okay.
hey, you know what? We talked with Matty Owanek about it, and I think that makes sense.
Mhm.
So
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's try something new.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring you a new segment. A new segment called Green or Gold. It's our take on hot or not. Green or Gold is brought to you by the Stampeders Roundup. If you're a Stamps fan and you're listening to our show, you might as well buy an Elks jersey now. But if you're really dedicated to the Stamps, you can go check out Jason's show on Shotgun Sports Network. Go hit him up at Stamps Roundup on social media.
Yeah. All right.
And it's because he took a stab at us over on his show in his coffee promo at the Elks. So,
Hey,
very
if
interesting.
you dish it, you're gonna be able to take it.
Or dish it back in our case. So that's what we're going to do here. But green or gold. So this is how this segment works. We are going to bring up a topic, and if you like it, you're going to vote gold. If you don't like it or moderately like it, whatever, if you don't love it, let's put it that way. If you don't love it, vote green. Because we're never going to say like green is truly negative. It's green and gold, but I mean, if you don't love it,
It's not gold.
it's not gold.
So it has to be.
It has to be green. We'll see if this one sticks. I mean, we might rework it, but this is green or gold. So Herd Chat, you know what to do. Blow it up. Get your voices heard. Get your vote onto the show here. Throw it in the Herd Chat. Tell us what you think. Have your voice Herd. Herd. All right. So, Elks Fan Day in Sherwood Park. Catherine, let's start with Catherine on this one, on the very newest segment. Elks Fan Day in Sherwood Park. Are you saying it's a green or are you saying it's a gold?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna say green on that one.
You're saying green.
I am gonna say green on that one. I think it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but I feel like it was a little small.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it's understandable, just because, I mean, you definitely have to work with the venue that you're working with.
Right.
It was, yeah, I think it was just a little small. And it didn't seem like there were a lot of people, and maybe that's because of the location, moving it outside of the city. So now people have to travel a little bit farther to get to an event like this. It was also the long weekend, and, you know, people are taking the opportunity to leave the city outside, go camping, go do other things in the long weekend. So maybe that also affected the attendance a little bit. So
yeah, but compared to years past, but I mean, it looked packed in there. It looked packed in my opinion.
It was small. It was a small venue. It was really, and they had like a weird little layout as well, right? So you had a whole bunch of the trucks, food trucks on one part, and then you had to come into the stadium, and then you had all the activities. So maybe that's why it looked so small, just because you had it separated in between two different areas. But I don't know. I mean, it was nice seeing everybody. It was very nice talking to people that we haven't seen in a long time. I think that community aspect you started to feel that, you know, getting excited because all the fans are there and the players are there, and you're starting to get that really good feeling about it. But when it comes to the event itself, being in Sherwood Park for it, I'm not sure if that was the best decision.
Well, and we actually have 2 votes already for green in here in the herd chat. Darren and Game Day Baby are saying that's a green. I'm saying gold. Okay, and the reason why I'm saying gold, first of all, you're outreaching to a different football community, which is out in Sherwood Forest. I like that. I felt like it was a little bit more intimate. Like, I felt like the crowds for Trey Ford were not crazy.
Right.
Wibs, I've seen where Michael Riley or even Trey Ford get like absolutely bombarded, right? McLeod Bethel Thompson absolutely bombarded last year. Trey Ford was able to make the rounds, and it was not that bad. You know, would I prefer a Clark or a Commonwealth for the Central? Absolutely. But when you are given chicken, you know what? The Edmonton Elks, in my opinion, made chicken soup. They made some good, hearty chicken soup for an audience that would not otherwise be there doing that. And I mean, a lot of fans did travel out. We traveled out. The Nervous family traveled out. Chantel, Section O traveled out. A lot of people did travel out, but we did hear that feedback that, yes, there were a couple fans that did not quite get to make it all the way out there because they don't drive. The busing schedule was messed up. So, I mean, hey, you know what? I'll agree with that.
Well, but then on the other hand, we also had people saying that the reason that it was kind of fair, because you also have fans that live in Fort Saskatchewan, fans that live in Spruce Grove, Sherwood Park, that have to travel into the city for a little
super fan Mike over at the Turf District.
So it felt like it was nice to have that somewhere else, and then maybe every year, if you have it in a different city, just give them their chance.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, I think they did really well for what they had. Truly, but I still didn't like it all that much.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and on to the next green or gold question. New Edmonton Elks jerseys have been leaked apparently via a commercial. To describe them, I'll give you the description and then we'll bring them up here, or you want to bring them up right now?
Yeah, let's bring them up.
Let's bring them up. Okay, so these pictures were leaked on Facebook from a commercial. I think everybody has these pictures now, but new Edmonton Elks jerseys. Obviously today they did a post talking about pondering, or what was it? It's like lamenting a classic look or something like that. But it's about the new Edmonton Elks jerseys. This is what we're looking at. The classic 4 stripes here. Double E have gone 2 stripes, 5 stripes, a variety of stripes. But here we are. Double E on the sleeves, like the 1980s jerseys, 1990s. That outline, we got a gold outline on green numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You already know where this is going with the home jersey.
Yeah.
You kind of know what it's going to look like just even based on this Play Alberta badge. Once again, we're going to talk about them. But Edmonton Elks fans, Herd chat, let us know what you think. Is this jersey green or is it gold, Jerry? Is it gold?
I like it. I'm gonna say gold.
You're saying gold, eh?
I really like the stripes. I really like the double E. Although I'm not gonna lie, in this white jersey with the double E, I know we've talked about it before. Just the width of the E's bothers me a little bit. I feel like they're very thin. Not really so much like the old school double E logo.
With the outline, right? And I was looking at that.
thin.
I was looking at that today on what the Edmonton Elks posted. I was looking at that and I'm like, okay, well the vintage look doesn't quite have that outline on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so the thinner.
We can't go back to a vintage look. This is new, right? So they have to reinvent it in some way.
What's old is new again.
I do like it better than what they had, though. I mean,
better than what was once lost now is found.
Yeah,
I can just talk in these all night.
It's not like this is bad. The elk logo. I think a lot of the younger fans really like it. We've heard a lot of kids saying that they love the elk. It's something cool, something new. But obviously, you have to be able to cater to multiple ages, right? And I mean, I personally would like the double E a lot more. So
we do have to remember that the elk logo isn't completely gone.
Yeah.
But it's definitely banished to the third role right now.
Mm-hmm.
Even second, right? Like somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Now
we have Darren over here saying gold. Oh, if I can.
Gold.
And we have
Game Day Baby saying gold.
People are loving it.
Shadow Ken. And I would love to go green just for the sake of argument. I can't. I know I can't. I can't because I've been waiting for this jersey for so long. Yeah. I've been waiting. The green, like the home jersey. By the way, was informed first week of June. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to get these jerseys first week of June. Can't give you the specific date. Mm-hmm. May or may not know it, but it's coming. And it's going to be right before that first away game, really, the first game of the season, because they're going to be debuting the look. They may be even technically debuting the look this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to wear yet. Yeah. They may be wearing that away jersey. Lavish Smoke here is saying gold. Mm-hmm. Have to agree. Who knows how they're going to look. Maybe they're going to debut it, and then it's going to drive up the thirst for that jersey a little bit more, right? That's smart marketing if they do that. But I have to say gold. Been waiting for this for way too long. The gold numbers, the return of gold numbers. Will they have the white outline like this jersey was outlined? Or, we're going to have to wait to find out. But I think fans are going to love it. Yeah. Fans are definitely going to love that home jersey.
We definitely need a new jersey. The one that we have is getting pretty worn. This baby over here? Yeah.
Well,
with all the signatures over there, you don't really want to be wearing that. Although the next one is going to look like that eventually. So.
I just saw Dave Cutler, Dan Bass. That jersey, you can't wear it anymore. That's the Legends jersey there. And then same with mine. I think that one might be coming out only for the Labor Day rematch. I'm going to be rocking the classic Section X for our home preseason, the white one, the throwback. And then, for our home games, we will have new Elks Herd jerseys. Going to be rocking that new look for sure. We're going to be buying that new jersey almost immediately. Yeah. So very exciting. Can't wait. Shut up and take my money scenario. That's a big one. All right. We've made it to our final segment. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight to the season 3 premiere of the Elks Call. If you missed the Odell Willis interview, go check it out, and then you can get back here. Or you can participate in this with us, which is our final segment of the night. We have to bring back the fan favorite, the Fam Forum. This fan forum is brought to you by Argos Fancast. Join Clay, Will, and Sir Douglas as they give you the latest from Argos land every week. Probably still a little hungover from that Grey Cup championship, but they've joined us this season right here on Shotgun Sports Network, and we're thrilled to have them on. So give them some love once you see them on the channel. But in this segment, the fan forum, we're going to talk about the hottest topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL as a whole. Herd chat for the last time tonight. Blow it up. Get your comments and questions onto the show. And new for this season, we're going to be taking in your questions and asking them as one of the questions for the fan forum. You know, we'll bring one up, but if you have a fan forum question, we want you to throw it into the herd chat. Be a part of this show. Let's have some fun with it. Let's blow it up. Let's open up the fan forum. Question number 1, Kathy.
All right. So the Edmonton Elks have made a multitude of changes over the offseason. They brought in Chris Morris and Mark Killam, while also adding some key athletes. Another change is the renaming of the turf in Commonwealth Stadium to Play Alberta Field. What are your thoughts on the new naming rights?
Me? You want me to start this one? Okay.
You told me to ask the question.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair because I usually, you know what? You're right. Oh,
so you don't get
coughing fit. Coughing fit. I can't continue.
Talk about it. You can't talk about it.
You know what? This is what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say that Chris Morris and company have gone ahead and done the deed by the team. They've done a great deed. They've secured a sponsorship spot that was very, very critical to their funding, to their money, that closer step to breaking even. You know, they haven't gotten to the point where, you know, they can just go ahead and kick back and relax and not worry about funding just because Larry Thompson's there. This is still a business. Football is a business, sometimes a nasty one, but it's a business. And Larry Thompson isn't just going to simply waste his money. Sure, he's doing really great things in bringing this team back to bone, bringing this team back to, you know, that family vibe from the inside and then the community vibe to the outside. How do you bridge the gaps between what you want to do in that and then, of course, the profitable business side of it, or the money side of it, the business side? Well, you have to get sponsorships. You have to get funding. Who else is stepping up to the plate to offer the money that Play Alberta is? Right? Sure, I get it. There's a big stigma right now about sports betting and everything else, and people have very strong opinions about it. I get that. I understand that. But the reality is that this team needs money. So who else is stepping up to the plate to give the team money? That brick sponsorship, that brick field at Commonwealth Stadium, the turf, named the brick field, that only lasted so many years. People were still thinking that thing was activated, that sponsorship was activated, but it wasn't. Brick did not go back.
No, you would have still see it everywhere.
The brick did not go back, right? No. Who's funding it, right? Play Alberta has stepped up with this funding. Game Day Baby here in the herd chat. I agree, it's good for the team financially. You want this team to survive in Edmonton, unfortunately, even though it's not your favorite sponsor, favorite business, and you know, unfortunately, here in Alberta, gambling is a big deal.
In sports, in general.
In sports in
nowadays. General. And I mean, I agree 100%. In many ways, beggars can't be choosers, right? And and right now, the reality, and we are all aware of this, is that Larry Thompson went into this deal losing money, 100%. The team is not profitable. They need to be able to get money somehow. And sure, it's not ideal, but you also have to, once again, just like I said, who else is stepping up? Chances are nobody else is, right? So you're going to take the best deal that works for the business. It's not, ideal once again, but you also have to go where the money is. I mean, you see it nowadays with everything related to social media. How many businesses were very reluctant, and even ourselves were really reluctant to go to things such as TikTok. But that's where the popularity is. That's where the money is for a lot of monetization, right? So you, unfortunately, as a business owner, sometimes have to make business decisions that may not necessarily appeal to the rest of the public, but you have to do what's right for the team.
Well, and here's the difference as well. What fan, what's the percentage of fans that absolutely will not go to Commonwealth Stadium over the Play Alberta sponsorship? I can tell you that there's more people not going to Commonwealth Stadium over a stupid name.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes. More people seem to have an issue with the name of the team, referring them to Eskimos.
And the reality is that you get all of this shoved in your face everywhere you go, especially in sporting events, right? You go to an Oilers game and there's going to be sponsors everywhere. You watch a game, just a regular NHL game, regardless of the team, and everywhere on that screen, you're going to see sponsors. Everything, ads thrown in your face. You watch an NFL game, ads thrown in your face. And a lot of things may not be necessarily things that you agreed on, but that doesn't mean that you have to go ahead and do it. Just because there's a name on the field doesn't mean that you're forced to go and gamble, right? You have the ability to ignore and just not let it really affect you in a way that, I mean, of course, and people are going to say it's principles, the principle.
Yeah, but some of us were 80s, 90s babies, and we grew up with Camel ads, Marlboro ads. No, seriously, yes. When I go through my comic books, 70s, kids were subjected to smoking ads and alcohol ads and all of this stuff. Sure, times change. It is a new time. It is a dawn of a new era and all this stuff. Things are a little bit more modern. It's 2025, not 1985, 40 years later. 1985, still good times for the double E, but it's unfortunately it is something that we're faced with a lot. But who else is stepping up to the plate and funding that sponsorship spot? Nobody else is, but it is Play Alberta. And if you want that to change, if you want that narrative to change, well, business owners, step up and believe in this brand, step up and believe in the double E and pay the big sponsorship. That's a solution to the problem. Maybe we have a bigger industry and bigger industries here in Edmonton, other than Play Alberta.
I mean, hard to say because they're massive. I mean,
they are province-wide.
They're very big, and that is actually a really good sponsor.
And here in Alberta, we gamble. It's no secret. Yeah. I've had good times and I've had bad times at big old 400K or double E games back in the day. All of a sudden the 50-50 rolls over and everybody betting on that. Maybe not, people under the age or kids under the age of 18, but rightfully so. But, that's also on you for educating your children and educating your people about, betting and do's and don'ts and all this other stuff.
Of course. I mean, we have kids that are on YouTube every weekend.
And they see worse sometimes.
They have seen worse.
Seriously. So you can't censor everything, right?
It's a matter of educating. It's a matter of, that's just it. It's a matter of educating and making sure that, there can be boundaries between what you see in television or on a field and your personal beliefs. 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Don't be a baby. But
don't be a baby. Holy, you are savage tonight, Catherine.
Darren over here, the double E need to make a profit to allow those profits to be retained and reinvested. Play Alberta is a community-based organization. Nice connection. So
and believe it or not, if anybody wants more research on it, Chris Morris has completely backed it because he kind of has to, but he makes the community connections. Play Alberta is Government of Alberta, which is AGLC. In the end, it's almost like government funding, right? It's that's the closest thing that Commonwealth is going to get to government funding for anything. Hey-o, we need to get the horn on here. Let's leave off with one last question because we did not get a fan question here. So let's just ask one. What player are you most excited about in the 2025 season for your Edmonton Elks?
Trey Ford.
It's easy one.
You know why? Because we haven't seen him play a full season. We don't know what he's going to do. We don't know what we're getting. Was it a risk? Was it not a risk? We don't know. Trey Ford is the biggest gamble that the Edmonton Elks had this year, and it better pay off. And I'm sure it will. He is an amazing athlete. He's an amazing player, but we don't know.
What's the ceiling, right? That's the question.
So he's 100% the number one player that I want to see.
Darren here in the Herd chat, Justin Rankin. And I like that one. Justin Rankin is a tank. We did get to talk to him at Fan Day. He's fired up.
Yeah.
I've never seen a guy so fired up in my life.
Yep.
Like he was ready to run through a wall. That was right after the scrimmage at Fan Day. So the Fords. I like what Game Day Baby says here. The Fords. Well, no, and Tyrell Ford is honestly who I'm interested in. I want to see how many picks he gets this season.
Yeah.
Was it Winnipeg's system? Is it going to be our system? Like, is this going to translate well for him? Is playing with his brother, like, is it going to be an iron sharpens iron scenario? I would love to see if that's going to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying not to get picked off by his brother in practice week after week. 24-hour flagathon in the Herd chat. What up, Nervous family? I agree. Trey Ford, watching him lead the team. Also, Tyrell Ford and Jake Serezna coming back. I know you're excited about that too, Scott. Yes, sure the rise of, the return, the resurgence, the return.
Hereford.
Don't tell Colby Herford. Wow, Colby Herford. Don't tell Colby Herford.
Who I'm also excited to see? Nick Anderson.
And I liked what Odell said earlier. Yeah. Is this, is he going to rise above the film?
Of course.
Is he going to get past that?
Can he?
But they know how he plays now.
Can he match it and go beyond it, or was it luck? Which I don't think it was. I think he's got it. But it's one of those situations.
But how do teams adjust to that now?
You have a rookie year that is absolutely amazing. You end up walking away with all the awards. Can you surpass it?
Yeah, I do think that is going to be a storyline this year. Yeah. Will Nick Anderson repeat that? Is Niles Morgan going to beat him in defensive tackles this year? There are so many storylines. Can Trey Ford stay healthy? Will Cody Fajardo play more than 3 starts this year? Is he going to be a starter at some point? We don't know. We obviously hope not, given scenario.
We want Trey Ford too.
I want Cody Fajardo to start week 18, last game of the season, because we're in a garbage game of the season where we don't have to worry about getting that last win. That would be the ideal scenario. From a game day standpoint, the return of condiment carts.
From Sean. What were we excited about?
No, Sean. Shout out Sean, big winner over here on the Elks Herd over the last couple seasons. Condiment carts. You're right. You get a hot dog, you go over to the area, and you can actually get your condiments at way more convenient spots than what they have them. I think the only place you can actually get true condiments is inside of the concessions right now.
Yeah, I think so.
The East and West concessions.
Yeah.
But why can't we have condiments out in the concourse? Sean out here is trying to fix.
I don't know the answer.
No, exactly. Why? Because they took them away. Bring back the condiment cart. I love it, Sean. Get me fired up here on a Thursday night.
I know you would appreciate that.
Yes, I eat hot dogs. I support Joaquin Gage slanging those dogs down there at Commonwealth Stadium. He might not be slanging many with how busy they are over at Edmonton Sports Talk. And then, of course, Gager every once in a while will be on. I think he might be on Sports. I don't know about the playoffs, but either way. Gager, he's going to be a game time decision for a couple of those dog slinging duties, but I sure hope to see him.
We need condiment carts for that.
The herd has spoken. Yeah, and then if I were to pick one last player, I'd be excited about. I don't think the kicking game at this point.
We don't know what that's going to
That's a very, very big question mark right now. Yeah, offensive line in general. I think that's going to be a big storyline because Is Trey going to scramble out of the pocket more times than not? Or is the offensive line going to hold and afford him more time in the pocket? See him become a pocket passer and then watch him scramble to get those crazy drives done. Yeah. See, look, Ken knows. Raw onions, baby. He's talking about those condiments. You got to get the goods. The dogs, again, especially with the green and gold dogs. Even then, I go over to the condiment cart and I make sure I get, if they have green and gold dogs this year, you get the bacon on there.
Okay, you're gonna give us whiplash with the way that you switch topics over here.
I saw it in the herd chat. It's that time of night. I got excited. You know where I'm at. But anyways, this is gonna be a season to be excited about. Go get your tickets. Forget the phone number, but it's like 780 something 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 else. Very easy. Go Google it. Go get your season tickets. This team is going to be a force. I think if I were to throw a prediction on the season right now, I'd love to see a 12-6 out of this team. I want to see a 12-6.
Yeah. I think it's doable.
They went 7-11 last year.
I think it's doable.
Right?
As long as we have a good start. I think, because in the past we've had very slow starts and then it starts getting a lot better. And we know that that's not, we don't want to see a repeat of that. I don't want to go 8 games into the season with losses. And I think that also affects the confidence of the team. So let's get it started with a really good start. And then if that has to peter out for a little bit so that they get their footing, but at least get that confidence right at the beginning.
Well,
I'd like to see.
And I don't understand where the CFL keeps on putting us in BC to start the season every year. The Edmonton Elks, anyways.
Yeah.
I don't know why the Double E play BC first game of the season, and like they've been pretty good. So we always get smoked in that first game. And this year they're all going to be fueled by Snoop Dogg and the fumes inside of BC Play Story. So that's great. Like we have to go into a full barn. Yeah. The Double E are going into a full 50,000 barn.
Yeah, that'll be a difficult one. But
even if I hope the fans leave after Snoop Dogg leaves. I really hope so. But imagine if they get that win, June 9th. Could you imagine if we get that win? That would be absolutely crazy. But before that, we have 2 preseason games, and the next one, the first one, is right away here. 2 days from now, we have a game. So that's going to be against the Calgary Stampeders, ABC. Everybody this weekend. Can't wait. Let's close that fan forum, and let's go ahead and shut down this show. Everybody, once again, let's end it with what Darren says here. Our last herd chat comment of the night. Oh, the E are going to spoil that party, and that's talking about June 9th, right? So, we're going to get there. Can't wait. I really hope that's the result. For now, we look forward to that game against Calgary, and I hope we get a win. Don't really care because it's a game about nothing except for the storylines and the battles individually on the roster. So can't wait for it. Once again, thanks everybody for rocking with us tonight. Don't miss out. If you did join us late, go check out that Odell interview because it was fantastic. For the first time this season, we are going to sign off. My name is Scout Natick, a.k.a. the rep from Section X.
I'm Catherine, a.k.a. Do Even Elks.
This was the Elks Call with the Elks Herd on Shotgun Sports Network. Go give us a like, go give us a follow, and go give us a subscribe. Thanks again. Signing off. Cheers, everybody.
Have a good night.
Go Elks.